Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Amy plays Brainstorm and resolves it normally. During her next main phase, Amy looks at the top card of her library and then puts it back. When you ask Amy why she did this, she says, "I forgot what the other card that I put back with Brainstorm was, so I was just checking." What is the appropriate infraction, penalty, and fix? Alright, so at regular rel, I probably wouldn't even bat an eye if a player did something like this. It's a casual, laid-back environment, and even if you wanted to take notes, it would be pretty cumbersome to stop the pace of the play in order to do so, so I wouldn't fault a player for just taking a little bit of a shortcut. On the other hand, at competitive rel, this is a little bit of a different story. Even though Amy in principle knows what the identity of the top card of her library is, there's nothing in the game right now that's letting her look at it. And accordingly, Amy has looked at the face of a card that she wasn't normally allowed to see. In other words, she did something that fits the definition of looking at extra cards. Ordinarily, the penalty for looking at extra cards is a warning. And the fix, well, the fix is where things get a little bit interesting. You see, normally when you have a case of looking at extra cards when the cards are in the library, the fix would be to shuffle the library. However, there's a caveat to that. If either player knows the identity of cards in any specific position in that library, then those cards stay in that position and only the random portion of the library is shuffled. What this means, in this case here, is that Amy will shuffle only the random portion of her library. In other words, everything except the top card. Of course, in practice, it doesn't really make sense to make Amy shuffle the rest of her library for looking at a different card in her library, so I would probably just have her not shuffle anything and continue playing. It might seem kind of weird that Amy should be shuffling this card into her library, and the only reason she isn't is because she theoretically already knows what that card is, but the only reason she looked at it is because she didn't know what it was. It's kind of weird, but that's what the fix is, as prescribed by the Magic policy documents. It might seem kind of tempting to have Amy shuffle all the cards in her library, however, I think that the way it is now is actually the best way. It's pretty easy to imagine a situation where a player plays a Brainstorm and knows that the top card of their library isn't going to help them win the game, so they intentionally commit this sort of an error, hoping to get a free shuffle and a free chance at drawing a better card the next time they get a draw step. It would be very difficult to distinguish between cases of a player doing this sort of thing intentionally in order to get a free shuffle when they ordinarily wouldn't be able to, and cases where this is an honest mistake. Even if a judge had the superpower of being able to distinguish between these cases with perfect accuracy, it's always best to avoid having the temptation there in the first place. That's why I think that this is one of those cases where I definitely agree with the fix given in the official policy documents, even if it seems a little bit weird at first glance. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again tomorrow for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.